Hello. Thank you for listening to this episode of Spiritual Resilience and Personal Power Through Awareness. Today we're going to be talking about bringing the unconscious to consciousness. And what does that mean, really? In a lot of spiritual circles, you'll hear people talk about being woke, which is another phrase for being conscious. But there's no arrival point. Consciousness is an ever unfolding thing. And there's a saying that I say quite a bit, which is that you don't know what you don't know. Scientists discovered long ago, just in the mind itself, in the brain, that we're only using 10% of the brain. And that's assuming that all we are is our brain, which we are not. We are so much bigger than that. So consciousness is a continual unfolding. When you see the lotus flower, the reason that is a symbol in Eastern philosophy is because the lotus flower is ever unfolding, it's ever opening, it's ever blossoming. And that is the way you are as a human being, having an experience in a body. What you really are is you are a spirit. You are your soul. That is who you are. You're never not that. But you come into a body to have experiences, and so part of that involves being largely unconscious about a lot of things. And so when a time of quote-unquote awakening happens, all that really means is that you start bringing things that you were not aware of before into focus. You're becoming conscious of them, and now you have an awareness about them. And so a lot of times, once you have that awareness, that consciousness, then it requires you to take action on it. Sometimes that means changes. Sometimes that means shifting your perception from a place that you always held to be true and realizing that it is actually not true at all. It never was. It could be that it's a truth that's just evolving to meet the person that you're becoming. And so, where does consciousness live? It lives inside of you. Everything that you need lives within you. Me here as a teacher, as a facilitator, I'm just here to provide you with the tools and the awarenesses. In other words, I point you in a certain direction, down a certain path that you may or may not want to go, in order to gain that awareness, that consciousness. I have somewhat of a wax on, wax off approach. And in doing that, I point you to the path of your own secret garden, so to speak. And everybody has one. An important and crucial step to that in the very beginning is going to be about sensing energy. And so as you learn to sense energy more and more, you can also evolve your experience of the energy that you sense. This will become even more crucial in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. As you become conscious of the energy around you, you can take note when your energy is high and make it even higher. Likewise, you can take note when your energy feels depleted and look at your surroundings and check in with yourself and make the decision to also make it higher. And this will allow you to evolve the pictures in your mind and how you are perceiving reality, and focus your intent so that you can become clearer, more focused. You can go higher in your awareness, and you can expand and evolve. You'll no longer be concerned with many of the trivialities that the vast majority of people spend an enormous amount of time and energy focused on, engaged with, and deeply affected by. And you should know this, that this is a choice, one way or the other. You get to decide. But even deciding to engage in those things is also a choice, and with choices come responsibilities and consequences. When you ask the universe for more, keep an open mind on how it comes. Don't become attached to a specific form. Otherwise, you place limitation on your ability to receive really good things that you may not have otherwise known was possible for you. I call this getting out of your own way. The universe will give it to you in the fastest, most efficient way possible. So it's important to release any agenda around that and let the universe do its thing. Your faith in that process only need be the size of a mustard seed. But the mustard seed will grow into the plant it's meant to be exponentially and with great speed. You may need to let go of certain ideas, attitudes, or images before you can have something. So you, your soul, will set up situations to release them. As such, you'll want to keep your eyes open. People, jobs, situations, circumstances, needs, wants, and desires may shift quite a bit and may leave your life completely in order for that to happen. So it's important to be willing to let those things go if they're wanting to go. If you're really ready to go higher, to experience a higher octave level of functioning and being, it is time to let go of any pictures, the how, when, and where of getting there. You can evolve much more quickly and easily by bringing your unconscious to consciousness. For your conscious mind is the light that evolves the unconscious mind. So it's always shedding that light for you. It's always revealing things that you may or may not want to see. And in that process, you are by no means run by hidden drives or unknown programs. You've been given the ability to look inward and find answers. This is really, really different from a largely unconscious society always seeking advice, opinions, information, and answers on an external level. And usually what they're seeking is answers that uphold what we call the ego's idea of how things should be, that supports the ego. This is why you have people that argue. So they'll ask for advice, they'll ask for opinions, they'll ask for information and answers. And if it doesn't support the structure of their ego and the agenda that they might have, that doesn't take anyone or anything else into account, like how to live in this world, then that's where you see arguments erupt. And the thing is that such information may or may not be true for you or true at all, but there's so much flying around now that there is much confusion. It might be tempting to do this, but it's not the time to shut down and hide. This is exactly the time to go inward, to get quiet and go into the silence and the stillness and listen. When your soul knows you are committed to listening, answers will come clearly throughout your day and night. But they will not come through noise and distractions until you have mastered the ability to listen to your still inner voice and adhere to its promptings above the agendas of anyone else. Such a commitment is not for the faint of heart. Some will love you for your clarity, and some will resent you for going against the flow of what the collective of society deems appropriate. But society at this point is not a reliable litmus test for how to do life. To bring consciousness from unconsciousness, you have to focus on finding the light, the beauty, the silver lining, if you will, in any situation. You will find answers coming to you without needing to use your mind to analyze, figure things out, and control every situation. If you want an answer, imagine that you hold the situation in your hands. Imagine light coming into that image, and then realize it is your higher self trying to bring it into form. So you need to release it to your higher self so that your higher self can do its job. I cannot say enough that you're not at the mercy of hidden drives or unknown programs. You have the ability to look inward to find answers. If you are looking for an answer, all you need do is ask and then listen. Some things get in the way of your listening, however, and one of these is your picture of what reality is and how it operates. Another interference is a mind that chatters incessantly, one that keeps thinking when you need to rest or think in another way. This is often referred to as monkey mind. Bringing the unconscious into consciousness is going to be the challenge of every situation you are in. It is the first step in what is called doing the work. If you feel that something you do not understand has happened, already you are spending too much time with the intent to solve it, analyze it, and know it. There's no judgment around this, as we're conditioned to operate this way. But on your path to spiritual resilience and personal power, it's just not going to work for you anymore. You're sending back a beacon of energy out into the world, and immediately answers are being broadcast back to you. So it's important to be ready and aware of the potentiality for that to happen. If you're running monkey mind, it's really tough to do that. Also, if you're expecting a certain answer or for it to come in a specific way, then it will be very difficult for new and more expansive answers to come through. So here's an experiment to try. Take a deep breath now. And take any question you want answered. Think about it, and then stop thinking of it for a week. Once you have asked a question, it's important to let go of it and go do something else. It's kind of like standing over a pot of water and waiting for it to boil. It just seems to take forever if you stand over it, right? Well, this is true with pretty much everything. So you just take that thought, you think the thought, you put it out there, and you let it go, and you just make it a practice to not think about it for a week. Now, you could take any issue and not think of it for even one day, and you would find a whole new energy around the situation. Another way to play, and if you consider all of this to be approached playfully, you'll have an even better results, is to just sit quietly with yourself and work with your images. If you are going back and forth about an issue, then neither answer is going to be completely right. This is called polarizing. And it's actually the thing that prevents people from taking meaningful action on their life, because they're always weighing these two polarities. And so they never decide on anything. If you had the right answer, you would not be going back and forth. So you can help to release the situation by picturing yourself finding an answer. And this is really different, right? This is different than the way we're taught. We're taught to chew on something and chew on it and chew on it and chew on it until an answer comes. And it usually doesn't work that way. Doesn't it usually work that we just let it go out of exasperation and go do something else and the answer comes to us? So how about if we just release some of the angst and some of the exasperation around that process and just make it a practice to just have a thought and then let it go. If you're patient, and wait, an answer will emerge. At some point, once you set your intention to find an answer will come into your awareness that immediately feels right and motivates you to act. You'll just know. If you cannot understand why certain things are happening to you, picture yourself understanding things easily and quickly. You can go back into your memory and recall all the times that you didn't understand events as they were happening. And then think about the times that you did understand events as they were happening. And notice in your remembering that your understanding came out of just letting them go. So with conscious practice around this will become second nature to you. Whatever is happening in your life can come from an image you hold of yourself. The images you send out attract situations to you. These pictures are absolutely available to your conscious awareness and can be changed. You can change any situation by looking at and changing your vision of yourself. I'm going to repeat that because it's not a popular opinion, but it really works. You can change any situation by looking at and changing your vision of yourself. Play with that. See if someone maybe is just reflecting how you see yourself and you're feeling the pain of that. So when you feel the pain of that being reflected back to you, then you realize it's actually really painful for you to hold that vision of yourself, right? If you were to put on peaceful music, sit for a few minutes, and think of nothing but the situation at hand, you might find yourself moving through it very quickly and able to let go of it afterward, not needing to think of it over and over. Certain qualities help people move into and experience higher levels of consciousness. One is focus. If your mind is always thinking of 10 or 15 issues, it may take weeks to move through them and find resolution. You might not ever find resolution. If you find yourself thinking of many things and feeling pressured, scattered, or if you find there's just not enough time, then your mind is trying to handle too many things. Each moment has its highest purpose. Each person you are with has his or her highest purpose. If you're ready to move into higher levels of energy, you can do so by increasing the amount of time you spend there. One of my personal favorite times is in the morning. You know, it's that sweet spot between being awake and being asleep. Rather than jump out of bed right away, I give myself a half hour to an hour to just lay there and breathe and hang out in that space. This is actually an effortless meditative state called theta. And for me, it is the fuel for my day. It sets the tone for my day. And so I get to hang out there for a much longer period of time than most people would ever do. But it really does make a huge difference in my day. You can become aware throughout your day of when your energy is down and what took it there. The things that take most people's energy down include talking about mundane or negative things, reading articles on the internet and social media or newspapers and magazines that speak of pain or struggle without a higher reason for it, or any kind of resolution that comes out of it. Like if it's got a happy ending, that's a good thing. But if it's just something that's just hanging out there, it will bring your energy down 9 times out of 10. Another way that can bring down your energy is by not listening to the flow of your body and your own energy, such as resting when you're tired and being active when energy is available. Also, thinking of past times in which you were hurt and fearing the future. This kind of thinking is rampant right now and is what is fueling the overload of negativity that one can't seem to get away from. And yet you owe it to yourself to step away from it, to disengage, and to check in with yourself and be with yourself. You bring up your energy when you do what you feel like doing. If you set a goal to get something done and yet you find that you want to do something else, you would actually raise your energy more by responding to that and getting up and doing the other thing. You may find that the goal you set has changed, or you may find that the break is just what you needed to recharge your enthusiasm. As you focus on what is good about people, you enable them to achieve it. Now, this is also true in the reverse, meaning the people that you surround yourself with. Are you surrounding yourself with people who are not focused on what is good about you? And does that make it harder for you to achieve what is good about you? So think about that. That goes both ways. There are many ways to bring up your energy. And you can start by becoming aware of what you say to people. Are you building them up, or are you tearing them down? Are you holding a high positive vision of them in your mind? Or are you thinking about all of their shadow aspects and you're defining them by them? Whatever you put your attention, your awareness on will grow, absolutely, exponentially. If you focus on people's weakness, emphasizing in your mind what is wrong with them, you are literally sending them negative energy that may hold them back. And again, as part of being aware of your own energy, it's important to be aware of the people that you surround yourself with, and are they also doing the same with you? If there are any situations in your life that are not working, the more you picture them as not working, the more you make that your reality. And this is a tough one because, again, in our society, we like to blame people. We like to blame shift. We like to put it on something or someone else. It's the same in relationships. When you hold positive and uplifting thoughts of others, you assist them in living a better life. And once again, I will reiterate that surrounding yourself with those kinds of people that are uplifting also do the same thing for you. And you'll actually experience a depletion of energy around those that don't do that. So it's important to disengage from that and really decide who your tribe is. When two people first fall in love, this is why we love falling in love, right? We recognize and focus on the best in each other and hold that vision. And suddenly, the world is your oyster. They find themselves able to accomplish new things and find old negative patterns leaving. You can greatly assist people by holding an image of their success, joy, and abundance. You're that powerful. And if you're holding any other image of them, it's disempowering both to them and to you. So be aware of the images you are creating of yourself when you speak to others. Do you speak of prosperity, joy, and abundance? Or do you speak of pain, problems, and woes? People form images of you as you speak to them. You may think that you would be lying if you were to tell everyone how abundant your life is when it is not. Yet, if you tell everyone how abundant your life is, soon you will be telling the truth, because you will be making that a truth in form. You'll be manifesting it as a truth. So don't think of it as lying. Think of it as creating it. If you can become aware of and grateful for the abundance you already have, it will increase. So be sure to watch your words and your energy as you move through the day. The instant that you notice your energy is dropping in any way, that doubts are creeping into your mind, that you are feeling bad about who you are, stop. Take a deep breath, or 10, and look inward for a higher image of yourself. You broadcast images from moment to moment, and people pick them up and respond to them. If you want to know why something happened to you, believe that you do know why. It's important to learn to forgive yourself, because every time you replay a negative memory, making yourself wrong, you're creating it again in the future. In moments of crisis, a new self is often born, a baby self, one that has just come into being with the crisis. So it's important to be loving and kind to yourself through those moments, because you're really birthing a new version of yourself, and you're letting go of that old version of yourself. Like a small child, it may not have the skills to handle things perfectly or beautifully, and yet that self is growing every moment anyway. So send that part of you images of its wrongness is not a gift to this new self. You never do anything that is not in some way an attempt to bring more light into your life. It's a cool thought to have. You can go back to any crisis situation and discover that a new self, a new part of you is born. It's a stronger and clearer part, a part that is more committed to your life, your truth, and your growth. Right now, you may be setting up a crisis, a challenge, or a dilemma to prepare for the birth of a new self. So it's really important to not judge yourself when you're in that place. These are just challenges, they're initiations to bring about this new version of yourself, a more powerful version of yourself, a more aware version of yourself. You are always going for the light. You may have interpreted what you did as not being the best you could do, so it's important to go back and change your vision. Release the memory and forgive yourself and discover what you learned. Look at what qualities the situation is developing or has developed in you. It may be leading you to a deeper truth or helping you learn what you want by experiencing what you do not want. Sometimes we need that contrast in order to get clear about what we do want or to appreciate it. You may be learning to become aware of your own light and to become more powerful, assertive, and clearly focused. Whatever you think you are not, you are working on becoming. So remember that. Whatever you're asking for right now, you'll have, but it may not come in the way you expect it. Watch the energy of everyone you meet when they speak to you. Watch their words. And if you sense your energy dropping, become extra alert. Pay attention to the topic. You'll find that there are things you can speak of with other people that brings up your energy and things that do not. You have the ability to change the topic into something that raises the level of interaction. Notice what thoughts you carry around in your mind. Whatever thoughts are on your mind when you die will be those that will direct you to where you are going afterward. That's profound, right? Where are your thoughts during the day? How often are you thinking of your highest vision, your highest self? And how often are you thinking about all of the mistakes that you're making? And to bring that subconscious into the higher self, you got to look at each area of your life and ask, what is my highest vision? You might think that you need to be involved in the daily mundane details of your life, and yet you can take care of these effortlessly if you focus on your highest vision and your higher path. The to-dos will show up automatically when you focus on that. Look at your level of abundance, how much you let the universe give you. Is there a way to increase how much you receive? It's important to find your deeper motivation. If you want more money, why? What do you think that you'll get from having money that you don't have now? If you want something, what's your motivation? Motivation is a driving force that can bring you anything you want. If you knew your motivation, you'd know the driving force behind everything you do. You may be saying, if I had this car or that job or a partner, I would be happy. But there's more here than meets the eye. If you knew your deepest motivation for having these, you could have your needs met in many ways that you did not see before. So that's why it's important to let go of this, the specifics. It may be that you want more security or delight. Maybe you want to feel more relaxed or loved. Or maybe you just want to receive more in general. You want to have that feeling of receiving, especially if you're a giver. When you're in touch with the essence of what you desire, you can have it in many ways. If you don't focus on a specific thing to bring you what you want, the universe can truly begin bringing you abundance in a lot of different ways. When you think of issues you want to resolve, you have two choices. You can ask yourself to ask your higher self to give you a higher vision of the issue. Or you can release the issue to your higher self and ask that your higher self take care of it for you. The best solutions come from your higher self. not your mind, not your monkey mind, and definitely not the opinions of other people. It's important to create new and higher images of yourself. Now, one thing you can do is ask your friends to hold specific images of you, just like you would do for them, such as picturing you succeeding at something you're doing. If you do not have new pictures, your mind will be much more tempted to fall back into the old ways of thinking. If you were filled with thoughts of what would be absolutely joyful in your life, such as traveling, more free time, a loving relationship, a physical body that's strong and fit, you wouldn't have time to think about the old, more painful or mundane levels. Think about that. When you evolve your images, you evolve the energy you sense. You can control the energy you come in contact with. If you find people talking about you in a way that does not match your higher vision, or thinking about you in a way that's not honoring you, you can change that by beginning to broadcast your own pictures back to them, rather than receiving their negative images of you. If you want them to acknowledge you as strong and powerful, send an image to them of yourself as strong and powerful. If you think of how you are wrong, you will send that image to them and they will find more ways to make you wrong. Acknowledge everyone as expanding and growing, and you will better recognize those qualities in yourself. Be playful here. Begin broadcasting positive pictures to others. See them as achieving their goals and creating success. Send out high pictures of yourself and others. See the gems that lie buried in people. Acknowledge people when you are with them. Speak of their progress, their growth and beauty. And watch them blossom. Watch them perk up. Watch them lighten up in their face. If they want to give you a negative story of their life, you are doing them no favors whatsoever by sympathizing with them. I know that this is, again, one of those things that we're taught, but is actually disempowering to them. So don't sympathize with them. Instead, be compassionate, which is not the same as sympathizing. Be compassionate and help them become aware of the gifts the situation is giving them. If you hear people speaking of negative things, send them positive pictures and change the conversation. When you receive or become aware of images that show you more about your path, you may question if it is what you are to do or if it's just wishful thinking or incorrect information. You might even wonder if the pictures you get in your mind are the truth or just something you made up. If you hold an image of your higher purpose, then the thoughts and pictures that come into your mind will lead in that direction. If you ask for guidance, trust the messages that come into your mind. And be willing for those messages to take a lot of different forms. One of my, best ways of receiving messages actually come in the form of songs. I may wake up with a song in my head It may even be a song I'm not all that familiar with, but it's playing in my head nonetheless. And a lot of times I'll look at the lyrics, and I find that it's a really powerful song, and so I'll listen to the song over and over again. So there's any number of ways that information can come through. Sometimes the guidance you receive might be simple, telling you the next step. It might be something as mundane as going to the post office or writing a letter. Some of you might want to know your path for many months and years ahead, and yet, if you knew it, it would only be a probable form and could perhaps so overwhelm you that you might find it hard to start. Early on in my coaching practice, many years ago, 2001, 2002, this was what I called the wall. This is what people were meeting up against. They had a goal in mind for what they wanted to create. And they had a very specific idea of what it should look like. And sometimes they would become so overwhelmed by the entire whole big picture that they just didn't do anything. They would just be overwhelmed by it all. So you just take one step at a time. You could find it less than joyful to know your whole future in advance. There's a certain joy in allowing yourself, your future to unfold without knowing specifically what's next, about really enjoying that journey. If you want more than you have right now, you can have it by simply trusting. Once you're determined to have abundance, what will come is even more than you could picture. If you want a vision of what to do with your life and you don't have it, it may simply be a matter of time. You could be getting prepared for that vision. You can bring anything you want to consciousness. If you feel blocked, you can find answers by asking your higher self for them. Another thing that you can do, it's something that an artist friend of mine said that she does when she's trying to paint a painting and she feels blocked around creating it. What she'll do is she'll grab her guitar and she'll just kind of play on it a little bit while she's looking at the canvas. You know, whether it's a blank canvas or it's a work of art that's in progress and she's at a place of being blocked, she'll just start playing on her guitar. And by doing that, then she puts herself back into the flow, and then she's able to proceed with her painting. Something else you can do, if you feel blocked, you can find answers by asking your higher self for them. You can evolve any situation with an image of light. So you can put the thing in light, just surround the thing in light. And then you can release any problem to your higher self and the universe to resolve it for you in the highest possible way. Sometimes the greatest sense of joy can come from knowing you are not alone, and that if you ask for guidance and assistance, it'll be there whenever you want. Very few people are doing that. And in all likelihood, if you're taking this course, you haven't either. But today's a new day, and we're paving a new path, and I'm super excited for you. If you're ready to link up with the universe, you can have anything you want. You're not alone. If you're centered on your highest purpose, you will find every door opening. The universe will give you ideas and assistance. People will reach out to you with help, money, advice, love, and support. So make the commitment. Do it now. Go for your highest purpose. Hold steady the vision of your highest good and be open for surprises. All of you have pictures of what it would mean to love yourself more. For some of you, this might mean a better job or the resolution of a problem. If you want more if you want more self-love, the first challenge is to discover whether you can evolve your pictures of self-love. Some people have a hard time with that concept of self-love. It sounds kind of hokey to them. But the thing is that you may be already implementing everything you thought of as being loving to yourself several years ago. And yet you may still not feel that you are loving to yourself. So look at what you want right now and ask, what's the essence behind it? If you want, for instance, a new place to live, what's the essence behind that? Peel away the layers. What is behind that? What do you really want? Maybe it's just peace and quiet or more sunlight. So maybe it doesn't necessarily have to come in the form of a new place. Maybe it does. But you can get all of those things in different ways right now because you've already experienced them. You know what they feel like. So every time you think of the future, you project energy into it, even if you mumble, I never get things done. Or I don't know why this happened to me. Or I wish I had done it. Every comment you make is directing energy toward the past, the present, or the future. If you could become aware of even 1/100th of the thoughts you are sending out into the future and evolve them, within a month you would know delight that exceeds all of your pictures today. Every single statement you make about yourself, to others, and to yourself becomes a truth. You speak energy every moment. If you want a better future, speak of it, picture it, and talk about it to others. Only you can create for yourself what you want. It's one of the greatest gifts you have ever been given. And now we'll end this episode and we'll move into our next meditation in the next segment. So go ahead and get yourself something to drink, go to the restroom, whatever you need to do. Maybe walk around for a little bit and then get yourself into a comfortable position and we'll begin into our meditation. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Namaste. And now, getting yourself into a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Connecting your breath. Breath is going to be vital throughout this entire process. I can't say this enough. Breathing in and breathing out. Connecting your breath. Nice, deep, diaphragmatic breath. Continuing to breathe like that. No pause between the inhale and the exhale. Fully letting your diaphragm expand so that your breath effortlessly comes up into the higher areas of your chest. You can even imagine that you're feeling the energy of your breath go down into your pelvic floor. Continuing to breathe like that. With each inhale, you're breathing in light from all directions. It's coming from the sun, it's coming from the great central sun of the galaxy, it's coming from the stars, it's coming from all directions. Breathing that into every part of your body, all the way into your bones and your bone marrow, your cells, your blood, your arteries and your veins, blood vessels, your lymphatic system, your endocrine system, all of your organs. Your lungs are thoroughly saturated with this energy. Your mind is thoroughly saturated with this energy. Every part of you. And with every exhale, imagine yourself releasing any picture you hold of yourself that is not a version of you that you want to be in the future. Be willing to let that go right now. And now, imagining that you're breathing from deep in the center of the earth, breathing all the way up through the bottoms of your feet, your legs, knees, thighs, the bottom of your tailbone, your root chakra, into your lower belly, where your reproductive organs are. Breathing that earth energy up through there. Breathing up into the top part of your belly, your solar plexus, which is where you feel the gut feeling to things. If you often feel a lot of anxiousness and tightness in that area, be willing to breathe this earth energy up into that area, along with the light from all around you. And then with each exhale, be willing to let go of that tension and that worry and that stress. Taking as many breaths as you need before we move on to the next part of the body. So imagine the color green, like a green apple, and you're breathing that up into the heart area of your body, also known as the heart chakra, opening and receiving at all times. Now call on what I call your I am presence, or your higher self, your soul, however you want to think of it. And you can say, I am presence, please be present, 3 times. I am presence, please be present. I am presence, please be present. And let that feeling of warmth that comes from that presence come in. And it might feel different for you than it does for me. So I won't tell you how I experience it. And if you don't notice anything this time around, that's okay. You can just keep practicing. But there will come a time when there'll be an unmistakable feeling that you'll know what it is. And the more you call on it, the quicker it comes, or the quicker your awareness to it comes, and the easier it is to perceive it. Now for me, it's rock solid. And then call on Archangel Raphael in the east of the rising sun. The symbol is the caduceus, which is not unlike a symbol that you see in doctors' offices of it's like a wand with 2 intertwining snakes wrapped around it, and then at the top are wings. It's called the caduceus. And then from that image of the caduceus, and you called it in, breathing deep, letting go anything that does not serve. And imagine that there's an emerald green fire surrounding you that's helping to facilitate and burn anything that's not working for you. And it's also amplifying your energy to that emerald green color. And then to the south, we call upon Archangel Michael with his sword of truth. Archangel Michael sits in the south. And the symbol is a symbol of a sword of light to cut through anything that is not true or is not needed. And imagine that sword surrounded by electric blue fire, and that electric blue fire, along with the emerald green fire, is surrounding you, purifying your energy, purifying your body, purifying your mind. And then to the north, we call upon Archangel Uriel. Archangel Uriel, we'll call on Archangel Gabriel first. To the west, the symbol of the chalice, and I like to Visualize this chalice with water overflowing out of it. And the color for Gabrielle is diamond white fire. And imagine the chalice being surrounded by this diamond white fire. And that you too, along with the electric blue of Archangel Michael and the emerald green of Archangel Raphael, this diamond white fire is surrounding you, burning up anything that does not serve, and also energizing you to your highest good. And now once again coming to Archangel Uriel in the north. Symbol is golden star, a 5-pointed star with a golden circle around it. And has a ruby red fire surrounding it. And imagine this ruby red now also surrounding you in all directions. And then calling upon Archangel Sandalphon at your feet, connected to the center of the earth, symbolized by a rose, a red rose. And imagine that rose and yourself surrounded by silver white fire, purifying. And then from above, call upon Archangel Metatron, the infinity symbol, and a gold and white flame surrounding the infinity symbol, the golden infinity symbol above your head, and also surrounding you along with all of the other flames of the other archangels, burning and purifying and amplifying the energy to the highest good. And now think of a situation in your life you would like to understand, perhaps to learn why you created it or what it is teaching you. Remaining quiet and relaxed with your eyes closed. Imagine you're holding the situation in your hands. Imagine light pouring into the situation and release it to your higher self. Envision yourself receiving the answer or the answers, and then think of nothing else but this situation. Breathing, connecting your breath, thinking only of the situation, imagining that you have the answers. You don't need to know what the answers are right now, but just imagine that you do. See yourself smiling with the resolution. See yourself feeling good. Just imagining the situation. Imagine a light pouring into the situation. Imagine offering it to your higher self. See yourself receiving all the answers that you need in whatever form they need to come. Maybe it will come up just in conversation. Maybe it'll come up in a song. Maybe it'll come up in a book that you read, or the title of a book. Maybe it'll come in the symbol of an animal, and you could learn about the wisdom of the symbolism of that animal. Be willing to have it come in a lot of variety of different ways. It could just come in one way. It could come in multiple ways. Again, just thinking about the situation, just the situation, nothing else. Receiving an answer, having a smile on your face, being joyful. And if the situation involves another person or other people, imagine the smile on their face as well. If it involves animals or something that's going on in the world, see if you can come up with a picture of how it would feel or how it would look for that to be resolved as well. In what way is this situation going to add to your personal power as you move through it? What is it teaching you? What soul qualities are you developing? Is it a quality of love, patience, tolerance, trust? As you grow to understand the situation and all the gifts it is offering you, you can move through it more rapidly. And again, you don't have to know what the answers are right now. You can just be open to receiving them. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be in the coming days or weeks. Just pay attention. And now, we'll thank all of the archangels, your higher self, your I Am presence, your soul, for joining us today and releasing them to step away, acknowledging their presence and their existence, thanking them. And we'll close this meditation envisioning the mustard seed. The mustard seed is a tiny little seed. And the reason that it is used in stories is because of its ability to amplify. So your trust needs to be like the mustard seed. It can be small. It doesn't take much as long as you have something. And then you nurture it and you water it, and it grows into a very tall plant, and it does so very rapidly. Thank you so much for joining me this day. Coming back into your body, back into awareness of your body. Coming back into the room, feeling the weight of your body, either sitting in the chair or laying down. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Coming back. And when you're ready, open your eyes. and let go of any kind of story about how this meditation will manifest in your life. Namaste.